Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that great welcome. How do I stack up to a great man like Dr. McCullough? It's going to be tough, but hopefully I can impress you tonight. Thank you, Doctor, for your great speech. You're an amazing man. Thank you, sir. First of all, I want to acknowledge all our other speakers tonight, obviously Dr. McCullough, our last speaker, but also Dr. Corey, Dr. McCann, and Mr. John Leake. What an amazing conference. An amazing conference. Now, they have taken the time out of their very busy lives to be with us here tonight, and I'm very grateful. They have sacrificed and gone through so much pain to bring the truth to as many people as possible and to expose what is happening in our world today. Now, the information which they have provided to us has been invaluable, and it confirms what many of us probably already knew before even walking into this hall tonight, that the COVID-19 injection is not as safe and it is not as effective as they made you believe originally. Am I right or wrong? I think I'm right. It also confirms that the government response, not only during the pandemic, but after the pandemic, if I can say after, was completely and utterly inappropriate. Inappropriate. They threw out the pandemic handbook for this one. Why'd they do that? We will find out. Now, we hope that everyone here at this conference has found it useful and has learnt as much information as possible from these experts, and this is very important. We all hope that you leave here tonight with the knowledge that there are still good people doing good things for all of humanity. Now use the knowledge that you've got here tonight. Use it. Share it with your friends, with your family, with your co-workers. The truth will be set free, and you are on the right side of history. The right side of history. I want to say thank you to Mr. Clive Palmer, the chairman of the United Australia Party. Without Mr. Clive Palmer, there would be no UAP and there would be no COVID-19 vaccine conference. So thank you, Clive. Thank you, Clive. Yeah. He has a clear commitment to ensuring truth in public debate and honesty in the political conversation, and for that I am thankful, and I know many of you are. Now the tide, it is turning. It is turning. The floodgates, whoa, they are open. They are open. And there are three things, ladies and gentlemen, three things that cannot be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Can't hide those things for long. Ladies and gentlemen, having spent the past 7 months in Canberra, I am certain that there are people in Canberra today who would hide the moon, who would hide the sun, if only you let them get away with it. They would hide it. They would hide it. There are forces at work right now in Western culture that would not hesitate, not for a second, to bury the sun in a committee and to conceal the moon beneath layers of bureaucratic newspeak. If only you give them half a chance. That's all we've got to give them, just half a chance. Not even a full chance. And there is a reason for their love of obfuscation. If you can hide the moon, if you can hide the sun from the public, what will the people have left by which to navigate? Now, it was former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern who not 2 years ago stood in front of her countrymen and women and told them, straight-faced, didn't even flinch, "We are your sole source of truth." Who remembers that? You remember that? Yeah. Now, there are those who would love a world, and indeed they are busy creating such a world in which people have no choice but to look to the government for guidance on every issue. They are busy fashioning a society in which the government tells you what you can eat and on what sort of cooktop you can prepare your authorised meal. Of course, it'll be an electric cooktop because gas is evil, apparently, according to them. They are at work even now regulating what sort of car you can drive and how far you can drive it from your home. Make no mistake, it's coming. The government will tell you how many genders there are, and they'll criminalise you if you dare teach your kids otherwise. With the help of vested business interests who stand to make billions in a world without the sun or the moon to shine a light on their shady dealings, they are reimagining a world in which you own nothing and you are happy about it. Happy taking their word for everything. Everything. With the assistance, ladies and gents, with the assistance of mainstream media. Thank you. Boo indeed. Mainstream media, propped up by these vested interests and staffed by journalists who see themselves as activists rather than as reporters. They have labelled the sun as misinformation and they have dismissed the moon as disinformation. That's what they've done. They've done a fact check, you see. A fact check. I'm sure we've all seen those. And now they insist that the sun never existed at all and that the moon was never a thing. The Wikipedia entries, they've already been changed to reflect this new fiction. Big tech has colluded with big government to ban the sun and the moon from their platforms. They've declared these things to be dangerous. And so the public are left to stumble in darkness, reliant entirely upon a self-appointed political and business elite to know which way is up and which way is down. When the government insists, we are your sole source of truth, as they did during the pandemic, you can be sure, damn sure, that they're using everything at their disposal to hide the sun and the moon and the truth. When governments demonise people who dare to question the expert advice, as they did during the pandemic, you can be certain that they are drawing the shades on public debate to prevent any light shining in. When governments mandate medical treatment for their citizens and they threaten doctors with deregistration if they so much as question it, well, you've reached a dark place indeed. And that is exactly where we find ourselves, ladies and gents. The sun went missing in early 2020, replaced by panic as a means to direct us. The moon was rarely sighted in 2021 as the expert advice and an abundance of caution and the old favourite, the science, was used to control us. And the truth had been almost completely vanquished in 2022 as politicians use lies, use statistics to convince us that we did not know what we knew and that we had not seen what we damn well know that we saw. That's what they did. Ladies and gents, at the start of 2023, I'm here to tell you this. The sun is reappearing. The moon is coming back into view. And the truth about what our political elite have done under the cover of COVID mandates will be seen for what it was. It'll be seen for what it was. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep spreading the truth. Now, getting our speakers here today, it has not been easy and it has not been without opposition. There are many people at the highest levels of government unhappy that we have brought them to our shores. There are many people who would like us to just move on from the pandemic and put it behind us. I cannot and I will not allow that to happen. I will not. That's right, ladies and gents. The UAP will not allow it to happen. Not without first shedding a light on what they did, finding out why they did it, and making sure it never happens again. Not without that happening first. Now the reason, ladies and gents, the reason that the sun and the moon and the truth cannot be hidden is because we will not allow it to be hidden. All of us here in this room. Now, I didn't go into politics to occupy a seat, and I certainly didn't go into politics to sit in a seat and lord it over my fellow Australian. I stood for, and I was elected to the Senate for one reason. I want to safeguard people's ability to see for themselves what is happening and to make their own choices after being fully informed. Now, freedom of speech, ladies and gents, and with it, freedom of thought, is now the #1 issue in the Western world. For decades, we have taken such freedoms for granted, but in the past 3 years, we have seen how quickly and how easily those freedoms can be taken from us. Restoring our ability to speak freely, to think for ourselves, and to be governed by common sense rather than fear and manipulation, it will take time. But for as long as you will support me and the United Australia Party in the Senate, we will fight to that end. And long may the sun and the moon and the truth be seen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Keep fighting.